This is really pretty exciting heading, going away for the week. So do you want to explain where we're heading to?
Yeah, sure. We're going to go up to Rockhampton from here and from our place, and then from Rockhampton we're going to take the road which will bring us into a dirt road which will take us into Stanage. I don't know if you're interested in this, but on this side here, this is the Shoal Bay where the army actually has the manoeuvres on this part here. So
okay.
We're really going into the wilderness, and once we get to Stanage, they tell us there's only 40 people living there, the inhabitants of Stanage. So it's an isolated place, but it's got everything going for it.
Yeah, boy.
It's got a pub, it's certainly got a ramp to launch the boat. It's got a little shop there, a grocery shop, which sells everything.
And you know, if you just looking there to the right of the screen, you can see the barrier reef. We took a rough measurement. It's about 120k out from Stanage.
Yeah, well, we won't be going that far, but we will be heading up to the islands just around about Stanage there, which is about, was it 30 odd kilometres?
Yeah,
it'll be a nice little trip, that.
Yeah, that sounds.
And the weather looks like it's going to be in our favour, so hopefully we'll have a good week.
Yeah. Well, that's where we want to go, Vic.
Yes, it's not a bad little spot there. It's a wilderness area, so we should do all right. And I've had a look at that road. It's not a bad road, but there's a couple of little spots there with cattle crossings that we've got to be careful of, especially with the smaller wheels in the trailer.
Okay. So we set about planning for this because it's an area we don't know.
That's right. I think we've got to be very careful. We know we're told about the tidal, the rise and fall of the tide is pretty high and low.
And interesting, I've even heard that there's tidal balls in the area.
Yeah, so that's something we don't know about, but we've got a few maps there we can sort of have a look at them, because we won't know until we get it. And
what we actually did is we got our hands on as much information as we could, and there's a book called Fish Finder. It highlights all the different places up north. And this is one of the images from Fish Finder. I'll just bring that in a bit closer. And so we looked at that. That gave us a bit of an indicator. From there, I then went to my GPS. It's got one of the maps for Australia, and that was very helpful. What we got on that, the Garmin sounder that I have, if you can see that, I'll just bring it up nice and close. It maps out the whole area, and it gives you water depths, the islands, and when you zoom in on it, we even got more detail again. So it gave us a good starting point, because we don't know any spots in the area, and so we're just going to look for some contours, some deep holes, and so we did some searching for that. But the beauty of it, when you have islands, the tides there, we're told that it was 6 to 7 metre tides.
That's right. And
that's huge, and so it's been stressed to us on the boat ramp. It's in and out 3 hours either side of the low tide.
Yeah, we've got a very short window there.
And people who have been there have said the same, haven't they? But with the GPS, again, I'll hold this up closer. If you can see, when we zoomed in on the GPS, we come up with more information. That's the front. You can see the little squiggly lines, which represents fast water movement, so we've got to be conscious of that. On the back, have I got that the right way? Yep, it come up with more information, as you can see right there. So that was really handy for us. Yeah. And also too, again, just to look at this, let's see if I can get this in the camera again. I've got it lined up. I marked some spots already so that we had a good idea of where we're going to be heading to. We did all this beforehand, otherwise you could spend hours and wasting fishing time. And the different depths, like this area there, you'd troll lures. And some of these deeper areas, baits, or if there's any pinnacles, you can find them, which we happen to. So that'll be interesting to search that out. Getting back to the tides, Vic.
Yes, now that's going to be the critical part of the trip, really.
The internet's a fantastic thing. This is what we came up with on the internet. A chart for the tides. Again, I'll just move in, and you can see that. And if you look closely, we've actually mapped out how many hours we think we're going to get based on what we've already been told, so that we've got a fair idea as to when we're going to be going out. And this is a brilliant bit of information we found on one of the websites. And last but not least, we did want to find out what sort of fish you catch. There you go. Do you want to hold that one up?
I can hold that one up. It's certainly encouraging to be able to see the type of fish that was caught this time last year.
We'll just do a quick show.
Yeah.
plenty.
So yeah, I think we can make people a bit envious of the area. If we can turn around and pick up a few fish like that, we'd be very happy.
Yeah, we're a bit, yeah, absolutely. It hasn't happened yet, but we hope that that's going to happen.
Yes, as they say, may your rod bend often.
Yeah.
So we hopefully will.
Yeah, and we also laminated too, you may have seen that. It just helps to keep them in better condition. Now, what else was there we had in mind here? That's right, planning the trip. We decided, because we don't really know the area, we'd get some accommodation.
Yep.
And the people who are helping us out were very good with that, and we'll get that on a bit later on with where we're at. And so now all we've really got to worry about is the boat.
Load the boat up and load the car up. And all the food, we've put the food there, so most of it's there, it was packed away. A lot of dry stuff and a lot of frozen food, so we're not going to be cooking much.
Yeah, so just doing the cooking.
Yeah, well, how about if I volunteer?
That's great.
But you've got to eat what I cook, like, you know, so, I mean, a little bit of
that's
caviar.
half the battle, isn't it? That's half the battle. So Vic's cooking, that's good. But I'm the skipper, so...
And we've got a couple of beers to go to wash it down with, so we shouldn't be too bad off. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it taking, you know, it'll take us a day to get there and a day back and 5 days on the water, so I think we should do all right. But they tell me there's some crocs up there too.
Yeah, speaking of the locals, while you hear different stories, somebody's lived up there for 8 years now. Yeah. They said in all that time they've only seen, say, half a dozen crocodiles, but the fact is they are there, so I guess we'll have to be careful. But it's a new area, you can't go charging out in case there's you know, obstacles, rocks and things like that, and it's good to have a look at things at low tide. Yeah,
well that's what I think we've got to do. That first day is going to be, let's see if we can settle in and have a look at the water, have a look at the tides, especially the ramp.
Yeah.
And if that water's running fast, you know, to lower the boat and you know, ship it, unship it off the trailer, that could be the only problem that we're going to have.
We're quite excited about this because this is perhaps the first big trip to an area we've never been, and it is wilderness, and so we're really looking forward to that. So we've checked our tackle boxes, made sure that everything's up to scratch, cleaned things up. Vic's even, you should have seen his tackle box, it was just a jumble, but now it looks like it's got a bit of order to it.
Yes, ready to catch a few fish.
So what time are we planning on going?
Well, I reckon we should leave about 4 in the morning at least.
That late? At least.
Well,
okay, so around that time,
I think it's about a 7-hour trip at least.
Yep, okay, and at the most, if we said 7 to 9 hours, depends on the dirt road, because apparently it's 100 kilometres of dirt road once you leave the Bruce Highway. And the area in advertising, they do make it known that they keep repairs for springs and trailers. And I have heard of people having their boat trailers shaken to pieces, and of course their boats have been damaged. I've heard of one fellow who went up there and his boat got damaged and his trailer was damaged.
Yeah. But his car was all right, he was driving a cruiser, wasn't he?
Okay, so that's basically what we, the first part of our leg in organising things, who's getting what. Well, this has been the big fill. We've got our tanks filled and we're ready to roll.